Okay, it says it's live.
Yep.
Okay, I'm sorry, I can't see it with my screen sharing. All right, so we are going to start the budget committee meeting at 10:05 today. Danielle and I are going to, primarily it's going to be Danielle because she just knows more about fiscal than me, but Natalie got a last minute contract training / meeting that she had to attend between 10 and 12 today. So she is not going to be with us today. And David Haverfield said he was going to attend, and he had to go to West Virginia to take his son to the doctor. So he wasn't sure if he would be in an area where he would be able to join via his phone. So it's going to be the three of you today for budget. And I think you all have, and I don't know how you prefer, if I can screen share or if you all have your documents at your offices and want to look at your screen, however best fits.
Whatever's easier for you. I've got the sheets. I don't know if everybody else does, but
I didn't print them, so for me, I appreciate them being on the screen.
Okay, all right, that's good. Well, the first part of the agenda is to review the fiscal year 20 year-end financials. So Danielle, I'm going to turn these over to you.
Okay, so we've had a heck of a time with our accounting software for council for some reason. So at the end of fiscal year 20, we weren't able to get a balanced, there was a glitch. We worked with the company, long story short, we're balanced. It's amazing. So we will need to bring these to the board for a full motion. So on the balance sheet, nothing major to note. But if you go to page 2, I think it's a better picture. The revenue and expense report to me gives a more clear picture. We didn't really use any of the budgeted reserves. I mean, there was like $800 that had to be used as a adjustment at the end of to balance the budget. We had to use like $800 out of reserves. But it doesn't show on here because it was an adjustment. What else can I say? There were a few expenses that went over in the contracts. Is it the contracts line item? It's hard to see on here. That went over due to legal fees from the council manager position. What else can I say? We, really got more MSY funding I jumped back and forth between the revenue and expense. I apologize. Contributions were good. So, does anyone have questions on anything regarding either of these pages from the fiscal year 20 year-end financials?
The LH Johnson Trust new this year?
Oh, go ahead, Veronica.
I was going to say, that was something that went through probate court, and we received the funding, I believe, in fiscal year 20 towards the end. And then we did not need to utilize the funding for fiscal year 21 because of MSY funding. That funding is really reserved for meeting the needs of the kids. So if we needed to do a shared funding agreement, or if we needed to do respite for a child, or services that weren't covered by Medicaid or other payee sources, we could use that Johnson Trust Fund for. And then every year we send a letter to the court letting them know how we utilize those funds. So this year I let the court know that in calendar year 20, we didn't have to utilize any funds because of the MSY funding that we received the last couple of fiscal years. But I have a feeling if MSY funding, we don't know yet what's going to happen with that with the current state budget. And if it doesn't happen, we are going to go through that money very quickly based on the needs of the children that we are seeing, that we are paying MSY money for, and also doing shared funding agreements for kids that have to go to the developmental centers.
Mark, in fiscal year 21, we pulled that and made it his own line items in the reserves column. So that may have thrown you off a little too. For
Because
There's
it
going to
really-
be, oh, go
It
ahead.
really needs to be set aside. We need to be able to show how we use that funding.
The money from the trust, was that a one-time thing or is that going to
Yes.
happen again?
No, wouldn't it be lovely if it was a sustainable funding stream? But no,
Sure would.
it was a one-time lump sum payment to us. And
I
so when
think
it
we
is,
did end up getting like an extra $100 from somewhere.
we got a
probably.
tax refund. We got a tax refund. I don't know how many months after we got the original amount, but no, we are not going to receive
That's it.
anything more.
Okay. That's good news that we got it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Any other questions?
No.
Okay. With that, I think I'll look for a first and a second.
Well, am I supposed to do that? Am I running the budget committee meeting?
No,
or you
you're
guys?
not.
No.
Danielle and I are running it. No, we're running this one. So we just need somebody to make a motion for a first and a second.
I'll make the motion to approve.
I'll second that.
All right. All in favor?
Aye.
We'll take it then. Yeah, so each of these will be taken to the full board then. for
On
just-
behalf of the budget committee.
On
yeah.
behalf of the
You
budget.
see, Veronica and I are the same exact personality type to the T. She's a little bit more extreme than me, and we've had this
Oh.
within the office. She's just that much more than me. So we're like both making motions, making sure this is, yeah, we're tag teaming.
I'm going to scroll to the next page.
It's a good thing. We're like that.
So the next thing on our agenda is the list of bills. January and February are both on here.
Correct.
January's in the blue.
So, with regard to the bills, we have been approving them despite the software being just not balancing for some reason previously. We have been approving the list of bills as we go each month. So these are for January and February only. I don't see anything really out of the ordinary on this. The FCSS service coordination, had to go, Paige had an increase at our last meeting, so had to go back and account for that because it went retro to July 1st. So that's why there was another payment for the July through December there.
Okay.
I think that's really all that struck me as odd.
And just to let you know, the last line item, the JFS MSY funding, JFS had to give us 5% of their MSY line item the first year they received it, and then 10% the second year. So when we have been receiving shared funding requests from the teams that work on those, so typically it's coming from Nate to me. We are paying for those out of this line item. We are able to roll the line item over from year to year. So we had, I think it was over 24,000. I can get there in just a second. We had $24,581.90 with both the 5% and 10%. And as of right now, we have left $11,211. Now, I have a current funding request for another child that, Sylvia, I saw that smile. I have another funding request that could potentially, and I'm going to talk about this in the governing board meeting, but it could take another $5,000 to $9,000 out of that line item. So when that line item is gone, it is gone too, unless the state gives JFS another portion in fiscal year 22.
Well, I move that we accept the list of bills.
Okay. Have a second?
Second,
All in favor?
aye.
All right, then the next thing on our agenda is the fiscal year 21 financials through January 31st. So let me just keep scrolling. That is then page 4. And Danielle's on a call. And I don't have much to say about any of it. I'm sorry.
You don't want to make something up?
I really don't. um, I guess the only thing I would say, home choice, that's rollover money from a couple years ago. I mean, that's just not something we get anymore. No, I don't. And Danielle says, just a minute.
Do you need a motion for this individual?
I do think I need a motion for this.
Okay, sorry. I'm waiting on a very important call and yeah, that wasn't it. So,
I told him I couldn't really speak to anything.
okay, let's look. So these would be through January. Again, balance sheet. I don't see anything out of the ordinary here. If you go to the next page 5, I like to work from that sheet. I
Okay.
personally just, it's a preference. I don't know, Mark, if you enjoy the balance sheet better, I'm sorry. Feel free to chime in though. Probably this was the highest year for admin contributions. So that's awesome. So yeah, I don't see, I mean, everything's pretty much where it should be. If it's, if it's at 100% in the revenues, that most likely means it's one-time funding and we have received that already. The expenses are a little slow moving. I think a lot of that would have to do with the pandemic, honestly. It's real tough to do Paige, her position right now. So she's doing great though.
Yeah, Paige is meeting her productivity. It's the being able to spend for families. I mean, there's not really camps open right now. She is really working. We had supervision a couple weeks ago, and we're going to do like respite boxes again. We're going to look at, we have new families. Would they be able to utilize bicycles like we did last year? So I expect to see a lot of expenditures for families between now and June 30th.
That's good because we haven't spent it yet, I don't think. The wraparound, no, okay, we'll look for that. So, I mean, everything's where it needs to be with regard to the budget. If you guys have any questions, I'm more than happy to answer them.
So do you want to lump both of these pages together and do a motion, or do they need to be separated?
Oh, they can be one.
Okay.
So this would be the fiscal year 21 financials through January 31st.
Okay. Do I have a motion to accept?
So moved.
Second,
All right, all in favor?
Aye.
yay.
Okay.
Sylvia, you might be right in that same category as Veronica and I.
Well, now that's the best compliment I've had all day.
We're all trying to run the meeting.
I know. It's just, yeah, habit.
I
Sorry.
know. I love it.
Can you see what I'm sharing now at the county budget? Okay, I just want to make sure. I wasn't sure I could toggle between two documents, so that's wonderful to know.
So this is our calendar year 21 county budget. this is not a budget that council will work from. This is for accounting purposes only at the county level so that they can process our, serve as our fiscal administrator and, process our bills for us. So we did a temporary one in October just to try and give them some idea with regard to revenue and expense. And there were just some minor tweaks on this, nothing major. So it is 2 pages. So that's I mean, it's, again, it's nothing we work from. It's more for accounting purposes at the county. So any questions on this?
Does this need to be approved?
It does.
I'm going to be quiet.
Me too.
I'm
So
not
moved.
saying a word.
Move that we approve this as
Good
presented.
job, Bob.
Second,
Good.
All right, all in favor.
aye.
Aye.
Right. Okay. Danielle, that's everything that you need, correct?
Correct.
So do I have a motion to end the budget committee meeting?
Sylvia.